you guys want to get involved with Concern, we do have a really cool spring run coming up. And I think I have the website up here. It's just concernusa.org/springrun. And it's on April 14th in Central Park. If you guys want to get a club team or a campus team out to form, where it's just like a 4-mile walk run, and you can sign up online, you fundraise, and we have a target goal, and all of our proceeds this year are going to education in Haiti. We actually have a cool video that you can check out that's a minute long. We have great celebrity ambassadors that are basically endorsing and raising awareness of children that after the earthquake have just been in these temporary schools. So the next step is, now that the school year is going to be ending, we need to get them back enrolled in formal education, back into schools, which actually, the government can't support all these children. So we're trying to raise funds to get them to kind of back into formal education. So that's kind of a cool thing that you guys can get involved in, very tangible and nearby. The next thing I want to highlight is that every year Concern has an international running competition, and it's global. So our headquarters in Dublin actually, they spearhead this, and we've done this for 5 years. And so a couple years ago we had letters to President Obama on climate change issues and hunger. 3 years ago it was on the Millennium Development Goals. Last year it was for like a Nicholas Kristof, journalist from the field. And so this is the book from last year's themes, which is called Dispatches from the Developing World. And so every year there's a published book. There are 4 age categories. There's one specifically for university and college students. And there's laptop, e-reader, and MP3 players as for second, third prize. But also I think the cool thing is that selected passages are in this book. So this year's theme is going to be writing about the state of the planet in 2050, and kind of looking back and you guys thinking about what is the world going to look like in 2050. So it's pretty open-ended and very, I think it's a great topic because it lends to you guys to being creative. So check back on our website. It should be launched actually on our website next week, and it goes until May. So for those who are interested in writing. And then I know you guys are part of one that's one of our partners, and just encourage sort of the campaigning component, increasing foreign assistance funding. There's blog entries, and they do a great job via social media in terms of raising awareness. So we definitely work with them and try to partner in those ways as well. So I just put our website on the bottom there, concernusa.org, for more resources and information on the countries that we work in. If you want to do a campaign or anything like that, I'm more than happy to continue to work with Brittany and all of you and see what you guys are up to and see if we can do anything to help support. So.
Great.
I have a question. Do you guys have like internships, or like if people wanted to come volunteer, do you have that?
Yeah, so we definitely have like a formal internship program throughout the year, and then in the summer it's a little bit more ad hoc, but we do have some summer internships as well.
I know they're looking for volunteers for the spring run too.
Most of the volunteering comes around the events.
Yeah.
So I know they need volunteers for the spring run because I sit next to the girl that's organizing that. She's
Okay. Yeah.
freaking out that they don't have volunteers.
You need like
So-
at least 100,
like in 2 weeks.
at least 100 volunteers for the run, because a lot of people sign up and it's a huge run.
There's like 5,000, 10,000 people.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
just people to help kind of
You can
teachers or
volunteer.
go to the water station and help them with registration, and
I'll
it's just
be
a
there
really
in 2
fun day.
weeks.
It's one morning, the run starts at like 9:30, so there's kind of more like throughout the year we have like event-based volunteers, and then also check our concern.net, which is our Dublin office. Sometimes there's some overseas summer internships that are more specific for, I would say, graduate level maybe, for like research or depending on certain countries that may need support on the short term. There are those kind of ad hoc opportunities as well.
And is it too late to sign up for the spring run?
No, just go online, and we're definitely wanting as many people to sign up as well. So everything is online here. You can form a team and just create a profile.
You don't even have to form a team. You can do it by yourself.
Yeah, or you can do it on your own. You can, there's a little, you get your own page, a little thermometer. You can email it out to your friends, make a little goal, and then fundraise, and then just show up and run. That's pretty much it.
I don't know if people would run, but
Walk,
for
walk,
my walking,
walk.
it's Central
Pretty
Park,
casual.
so it's
Yeah.
we could, we have a program on campus. It's called DOV, and it's pretty much all volunteering. So we could put that in there, so maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know freshmen, they have to make 10 hours of volunteering service, so I think they would
You
show
get
up.
most of them right there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, done.
At least
Yeah.
walk there.
Yeah.
and plus will help to spread like the
Yeah.
awareness of like what concern is. And,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes,
we going.
there's also information on
I mean,
our work with Haiti, this is specific to Haiti, but there's also information on here as well, so great awareness. Do you guys have any questions in general, like for like Kirk and Jen? I know there's a lot of information.
I had a question for her. Was that the health facility? Was that the only one in the Freetown? Is it-
No, I mean, not in the whole city, definitely
Yeah,
not.
because it's
In,
just-
in the one sort of community, within Freetown, we're working in 10 slum communities, so each community has between 5 to 15,000 people that live in it.
Mm.
So it's not a big physical distance, but it's very, very densely populated. So that was the health facility for a population of about 5,000 people, a community of about 5,000 people, yeah. And it's staffed by one person. Well, it is open 24 hours, so technically there are 3 people, but there's only one person at a time. And yeah, I mean, it's tiny.
That's insane. You go to a doctor here and you wait online for an hour, and you have like hospital everywhere. And it's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, the services that they provide at that health facility are for children under 5 and pregnant women, and that's it. So,
They don't provide- what
you know,
about
if there's any other
religion?
issue that you need, you'd have to go to another, you'd have to basically travel to, a larger health facility somewhere else within the city.
but wasn't that the capital you said? So
Yeah,
where
it's
would,
the capital.
I figured the capital would have.
They do, there's 3 large hospitals in the capital, that obviously have they have some doctors, doctor. They do offer, many more services than that. But the government of Sierra Leone is making a big push, actually, just in April 2010, they launched what's called a free healthcare initiative for pregnant and lactating mothers and children under 5. So making these sorts of interventions available and free to these target groups. So it's really great that they're doing that. But obviously the facilities are
It's so small.
really in need of updating, yeah.
How are there with public transportation? Public transportation.
Public transportation?
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
Afghanistan seems a little.
Yeah.
Well, in Freetown it works. I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually the way that most people.
Yeah,
Get
to
around.
get to the hospital, because he said that they had to carry the woman, so the public
You do
transportation.
see that sometimes, yeah.
But I know, like, I was in Nairobi for a bunch of this summer, and you think like these areas are closed and there is public transportation, but what you don't realize is that, like, let's say the fare is, 50 cents, you think 50 cents, to go into the center of town and back, so that's $1. That's
Yeah,
nothing, like,
can't afford it.
that's like days' wages right there, so, like, even just being, that far away from something can make it, like, prohibitive from actually getting there. Like,
In Rwanda, after the project or initiative ended, will those community centers, will they still get supplies, the medical supplies for them to do it? Okay, so you're not just like,
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So,
obviously they're trained, but they're still going to get the supplies that they need.
yeah,
to
no, it's a great question. So whenever I shouldn't say whenever. In most cases, the best thing to do is when we're working with health facilities and when we're working with the Ministry of Health in countries to improve their drug supply system, is we're building their capacity and training them to better be able to manage what's called the medical supply chain. So a lot of countries, when they sort of start out, are on something that's called a push system. So from the headquarters or central level in the capital, they just send out drugs to the health facilities. They don't have any records about how many drugs each health facility needs, how many are expired, like how many they still have from last time. Like they just push out what they get. And that obviously is not the best way to go about things. It leads to a lot of stockouts. It leads to a lot of drugs being there that are expired. So we do a lot of training with health facility staff and even with national level people on trying to put in place what we call a pull system. So actually like requisition forms, record keeping, what do we have, what do we need, how can we put this in on a daily basis. There are situations, especially in a lot of our emergency programs, where we will provide drugs, where we will buy them and provide drugs, especially if there's a cholera outbreak, or if the health system is just not strong enough. And actually in Rwanda, when we started that program 10 years ago, it was right after the genocide, and we were buying drugs. But over sort of this life of the project, we did transition gradually so that the government was buying more and more of the drugs themselves, and we were doing the training side of it. So yeah, that's like my big issue. So you hit the nail on the head.
What I can think of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.